it's Emma10 here and welcome to Yu-Gi-Oh! Etiquette episode 13, and I do hope you guys enjoy. Today's lesson is going to be on meta cards and staple cards, and this video was actually inspired by one done by Dark84, and I do hope you guys enjoy this. So anyway, meta cards and staple cards, it really does amaze me how there are lots of people out there who either mix these terms up or think they are the same thing, because they're not really. They have very, very specific definitions on what they are, what they do and everything. So I'm going to try and clear that up as best I can for you guys, and I do hope this helps you guys out as well in when it comes to building your own decks and defining what is a staple card and what is a meta card later on. So, staple cards. Staple cards are generally categorized as cards that can be used by almost any deck. And they generally don't have any specific requirements to activate them or a specific archetype theme behind them most of the times. They can help to win games in some cases, but in general they're normally used to help synergize with the deck a lot better. So things like Monster Reborn, Pot of Duality, Effect Veiler, Mirror Force, Call of the Haunted Heavy Storm, Dark Hole, Mystical Space Typhoon, Maxi to an extent I suppose. These kind of cards would be considered staple cards because most decks can utilise their power and they don't have any specific requirements to activate them, and they can be used in almost any situation without being a hindrance to yourself most of the time. Meta cards are generally defined as cards that win games or help to quickly win games. For example, Judgment Dragon would be considered the game-winning card for Lightsworns. And the other thing about meta cards is they often have a specific theme behind them or specific requirement to activate and everything. Again, I'll go back to Judgment Dragon. Judgment Dragon cannot be summoned except for having 4 Lightsworns in the grave. So in other words, you cannot use Judgment Dragon except in a Lightsworn deck or a Lightsworn variant deck. It can't be used in any other Dragon deck, unfortunately, although that would have been pretty cool in some ways. It can only be built in Lightsworns, and therefore is their key card in winning games. What other cards can I think of in meta? Another card you could say is quite meta is the Spellbook of Judgment and the High Priestess of Prophecy. They win games to an extent, but at the same time they can only be used in a prophecy deck. They can't be used by general spellcasters or anything, because then that would make general spellcasters too powerful, I would suspect. So that's how you define a meta card and a staple card. A staple card is something that can be used in general circumstances. It can be used by almost any deck, or you can see them being used by almost any deck. But meta cards are basically cards that are built to win. But most of the time they do often have a specific requirement to activate them, and often have an archetype theme behind them as well. Anyway guys, that's it for this lesson. I hope you enjoyed. I hope that clears up meta cards and staple cards for those who are still a little bit confused about them. I will put a link in the description box to let you guys see Dark84's video as well, so you can go and check that out. Until then, take care and we'll see you guys later. Bye!